Hey guys, Diana here from Garden Love. I wanted to take a moment to wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving. And I know it's been weeks since I've been out here in my garden and share what the progress has been here. You guys all know that I took some time off to do some to accomplish a goal that I had set myself to do for a very long time. Finally my goal and dream came true. I did manage to get through my training that I had mentioned in the previous video, and thankfully everything's good and I'm super happy. The only thing now is that I'm super busy super busy working long hours and when I'm not trying to be here with my family. But I did want to come out here and show you guys what the garden looks like. It stopped raining for a second, so I'm gonna give you guys a little tour of just the front. I'm gonna do a separate video for the back. A lot happened, and I think what I'm gonna name this video is what survived through the 20 weeks of neglect. What survived and what didn't, and what barely made it. So I'm gonna start with here with my courtyard. Many of you guys know what my courtyard looks like normally. You're gonna be surprised that it's very messy. Not like it normally is on my previous videos, and it's pretty much a jungle in here. But you know what, I don't mind it. I absolutely love it. To some people they might not like how messy it is, but I love it. And let me start out with my pineapple guava. It was in the front of my house, and since I was so busy, I failed to give it water, and it was so hot during the summer that, as you can see, it lost most of its foliage. And I brought it over here so I can get a little bit of shelter, and so I can remember to water it, because I water this area a lot more than I do walking to the front. I'm not sure what's going to happen to all of this. I might just trim it. And leave a comment down below if you want me to do a video on each individual plant that I have here in my courtyard, or if you don't mind watching this video that's going to be long, because I will do individuals if you just don't want to sit through this whole thing. My blueberries also suffer because they do like a lot of water, and once again I was so busy. Watering was the one thing that I neglected to do this whole 20 weeks that I was in my training. My blood orange, it thrived over the summer. It grew tremendously. I'm gonna have to get another trellis so I can spread those and do it aspalaire, because that's the style that I'm growing this blood orange. I'm gonna try to go fast just so you guys can see. And like I said, if you guys are interested in seeing a video of each individual plant, I'll go ahead and do that. Leave it in the comments down below. This is my air layer pink lemon, Eureka lemon. And it also took a hit. As you can see, there's a lot of dry leaves. That's because the root I'm pretty sure has already overtaken this little pot. And Lily wants to say hi. And it needs it needs to get up potted. So for that reason, it needed a lot more water, because it couldn't retain a lot of water. So it was struggling because I wasn't watering it as much as I needed it to water it. Jessica, can you close the door? Yeah, sorry. And then we also have here my Kaffir Lime. You know what, there was days that this plant looked pretty sad, but overall it did well with the little bit of water that I gave it. And it didn't drop leaves. It still grew its lemons. Oops. I actually saw one over here earlier. I'm gonna put him over here. And you know, so if you guys live in a dry area, this is actually a tree that I would recommend, because disregard of the neglect that I gave it and the little water that I gave it over the last 20 weeks, or like 25 weeks now, or give or take, it thrived. It is a slow grower, so it didn't grow a lot more, but it maintained its leaves even with the little water that I provided. This is another pink Eureka lemon, a lemonade lemon, and this one was struggling a little bit as well, but not as much as the air layer, because I'm anticipating that the air layer roots got like overtook the pot, and for that reason it was struggling with the neglect of water that I was giving them. And I should have put some drip irrigation, but I didn't get around to it, and for that reason they were struggling. I was struggling to sleep some days, so therefore I had absolutely no time to even come and water for 5 minutes. So for that reason. Now, if you guys remember this apple tree, it did wonderful. I transplanted it from someone else's home, It's been thriving. It's had tons of apples over the summer, and as you can see, it's still doing amazing. My key limes are also doing amazing. Let's see here. We have some lemons, some little baby limes. I always confuse lemon and lemons. That must be a Latin thing, but they're limes. We are growing some. It's not as compact as it normally is, and that's because, once again, watering. Watering is a big thing, especially when your plants are blooming. In order to retain those blooms and make them turn into little limes or lemons, you need to water them. Otherwise, the tree would just absolutely drop anything that it doesn't need. And that's what happened with my key lime. It looks like it's coming back. You see all those baby ones right there? I'm hoping that it gets more because it did drop a lot. As you guys know, I have 2 of them, and that one is kind of covered by my passion fruit. It's growing like crazy. It actually completely covered the whole fence or the trellis that I built for it. If you guys remember in the previous videos, it was tiny and it had absolutely none of this was here. And over the summer, it actually went wild. And since I was so busy, it's overtaken some of this tree. I'm gonna have to get in here and trim it down because I don't want it to stop the circulations of some of these branches. Because passion fruit is very aggressive, so I need to go ahead and trim it down and make it look a little neat, and that way it doesn't overtake the rest of the trees. Now my my Eureka Lemon, as you guys know, this tree was here when I moved in. The first 2 years it gave me absolutely barely any lemons. This year is loaded with lemons, which I'm so excited because in my previous video I mentioned how excited I am to share all these lemons with my neighbors. That's one of the reasons why I love growing things, because I want to feel that joy of sharing with my neighbors and being able to share, and they can enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying it, because I don't eat that many lemons, and if I can grow it and grow an organic product and they can enjoy it, that just makes me very happy. This is my Meyer Lemon. Last year it gave me tons of them. This year, like I said, everything's going to be suffering due to the fact that I neglect to water as much as I should have. Remember, I'm growing them in pots, so therefore the only resource that they have available is whatever I provide to the pots, which is water. Which is me giving it water, and if I'm not here to give it water, they're not going to grow their roots through the concrete and get roots and get water down there like a plant like this in the ground would. Yes. Lily sees an apple and she wants me to get it down. I'll get it down in a little bit, okay? Because I'm gonna have to go to the other side. Now, one thing that definitely failed over the summer is gonna be my strawberries. You see the little towers that I have there? I couldn't keep up with the watering. I did a drip system, but it failed from the plug, and I didn't get around to actually fixing it. So therefore, everything that I did have on drip irrigation, it failed. My plan failed, and I didn't have time. And when I knew what was happening, I didn't have time to prepare. So some strawberries did continue to thrive, maybe because they were in the shade, and maybe because I did water them a little bit more. Don't go in there, Mama, it's wet right now. And then I grew some cucumber lemons. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, and I don't know if you can see them from here, but I can't get in there right now because it's soaking wet. And there are some cucumber lemons growing everywhere. That's another summer plant that completely took over my garden. It's growing everywhere, and if you can see the baby cucumber there, you can see it right there. That's a baby cucumber. It's about maybe an inch long, and it's growing over this huge lemon tree and over my passion fruit. So it's commingling and sharing the trellis. So it's pretty crazy. I have a gift here from a friend. It is a unique avocado. I might transplant that here pretty soon, or might leave it till spring. I got a finger lime, which I'm very excited, and I need to transplant that as well. I have some cuttings that, surprisingly, despite my neglect of watering, are thriving, such as this one. This is actually a cutting that I just stuck in there with the strawberries, and look at how big it is. So I feel like I'm talking super fast, but I really want to share everything that I have going on here and not have this video be super long. I want to share this with you guys. Do you see that? That is the cucumber lemon that I am growing, and it's going crazy. If you look really close, the passion fruit right here, there's actually another one right there. It's actually starting to rain, so I'm gonna have to go back inside. But let me show you guys. This pink guava suffers so much because of my neglect. As you can see, it's not as full as it normally is. That's because it was suffering from not getting enough water. And these guavas love drinking a lot of water. As you can see, even the fruit looks dehydrated, and as much as I wanted to water it, I just didn't have the time. So just remember that if you're growing a guava, they require a lot of water. It's okay. You know, I did what I had to do. They survived. This plant survived. It needs a lot of little garden love, and I will be giving it some garden love. So I'm going to make sure that I water this plant as often as I possibly can, because I'm pretty sure that the roots have outgrown that pot. I might need to repot it. And yes, but it made it. So I'm very happy about that. I was pretty sad every time I would walk by and see it. My Eureka lemon that's growing aspalair, surprisingly, despite the sun, it's growing amazingly still, and it has a lot of lemons. I actually thought I was gonna lose a lot of lemons. Oh, okay, I'll be right there, baby. Here you go. But I mean, it's managed to maintain lemons, and they're growing, so I'm very excited about that. It did look pretty sad a couple times when I would walk by. The leaves were kind of rolled up, and that's a sign of dehydration and need to water. And I would try my best to get out here and water, but like I said, some days, some weeks I couldn't. Let's see if you guys can see what this is. This is my oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now. Let me think here. Do you guys know what this is? Leave it in the comments below. This is my Lily. Yeah? Come here. What are these called? These little fruits. I can't remember right now. Come here. Oh my goodness. How am I drawing a blank right now? I bet Lily's gonna remember. That's how long I've been out. I have not been out here in the garden. What's the name of the fruit that grows out of this?
I don't remember.
You know? Oh, you know what? I just remember. Kumquats, right? See, it is growing some kumquats. However, I did see a lot of blooms fall out because of the neglect of water. It just didn't have water. Keep in mind when you're growing things in the garden and the only resource that it has is you need to make sure that you water it, especially when it has blooms, because if it has blooms, then if it has no water, the plant would just naturally drop the blooms because it wants to survive and keep its foliage. So the blooms are going to be the first thing that are going to fall out, and that's exactly what happened. I don't expect a lot of my trees to have a lot of fruit this year due to the neglect of watering while they were in their blooming season. So for that reason, I am going to just be happy with what I get and just make sure that I take care of them from this point on. And when the summer comes and they start blooming again, or spring, depending on which time of the season it blooms, I'm gonna just make sure I give it the adequate water. Look at my aloe vera. This is amazing, and has a little pup growing right there. This was a gift from someone. I brought it here, stuck it in the ground. It was probably the size of that, and now look at how big it is, and it has an amazing, beautiful bloom coming. Oh my god. All right, guys. Well, there is a tiny little tour of my courtyard. So you guys know I have a whole side of plants growing, and I have a whole section back here that I was growing my vegetables. That place is like a jungle. I have tons of things in the back, but I'm gonna start with doing this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I missed you guys all so very much. I'm so happy to be able to get the camera and come out here and share the progress of my garden and how everything did during my neglect. what thrived. I think pretty much overall I was very blessed that everything survived. My blueberries suffer a lot. I didn't share this with you guys. As you can see, they're all dried out. They're pretty sad. This apple tree looks pretty sad due to the neglect of the water. There's a few things that need help and they're completely overgrowing, like this plant right here. It's taking over this palm tree. It needs a little TLC, a little bit of my love here and some time and attention here. But when you know, I'm just gonna have to take it one day at a time and do what I can and try to clean it up. And when I get a chance, share it with you guys, because I definitely want to keep giving you guys update on what's going on here in my garden. I want to continue to encourage everybody to try to grow whatever you can, even if it's little, even if you just have one little corner, and you can put a pot. As you can see, all of my plants, my trees are mainly in containers, and they're thriving, they're growing, they're producing, especially if you give it the attention and care that it requires. A lot of the stuff, like I mentioned, is not going to have fruit due to the fact that I wasn't watering it as much as I should have during their blooming season. You know, because the only resource that they had available was me, and I wasn't available. So that's what happens. So that's what's going on here in Garden Love. I am so excited to see you guys all and see all the comments you guys are going to leave down below. I can't wait to continue to make some videos and get back into the groove of YouTube and Garden Love's channel. There's been a lot of new people to my channel. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you guys here. If you ever have a request about a specific video, I would be happy to do it for you. Just go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. I do have a crazy personal schedule, so for that reason I might take a while to reply. I know there's been tons of messages that I haven't replied to, and I apologize for that. If I give it a heart, that means I did see it. I just don't have the time to. A lot of the answers that I want to give you guys are like, I want to like get into detail, and for that reason I don't want to just give you a simple answer to your comment, and for that reason I push a card letting you know that I did see it. I just at that moment don't have the time to get too deep into my reply. I just want to tell you guys thank you so much for continuing to support my channel and being here for me. A lot of you guys gave me a lot of support when I told you guys that I was going to start a new journey. I am so blessed to have you guys here and to have your support. I want to let you guys know thank you. I accomplished my goal. I'm so excited, and I feel so blessed to have you guys as friends through YouTube. A lot of you guys, I do feel like you guys are my friends. And I hope you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving and an amazing weekend. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.